Danny, you backstabbing fuck you! I yells at the cowering goat guy. You better hope I don't survive this, cause if I do, you damn sure won't. Now there's no need for the fuss, the guy says, pulling a chair behind him as he walks over to me. Now sit. He adds with a sternness in his voice now. Well, frankly, it did the trick, cause my ass was in that chair before I could tell my knees to bend. So you're, the god, I guess, huh? As it just so happens, that's not the most important issue at the moment. I'm sorry to say. As I said, current issues withstanding. Oh, is this about that Christian girl we sacrificed? Son of a bitch, I knew we shouldn't have let her keep praying the whole way there. I interrupted him. The guy that can sleep Abigail with one shot, who I was currently trapped in the warehouse with. Pardon? But who? Praying? Oh, no. Do you really think I can hear all of that? If they aren't within earshot, then whoosh, right out into the void. But just between us, there wouldn't be much I could do then if I could. Suppose we stay on topic. He explained, finally taking a seat across from me. And what's the topic? And more importantly, why'd you call me here to talk about said topic? He started, raising a finger. First of all, I didn't specifically plan for you to show up. Any one of you would have equally done well. You being here is, simply put, the luck of the draw. That aside, leave that thing alone, he demanded when he saw me try to get to my phone. I've made the mistake on more than one occasion of forgetting to consider those little things. But seeing as I was considerate enough to come alone, a show of good faith, I expect you to show me the same consideration. Fine, I tells him, pushing it back down into my pocket. So what do you want? I asked, narrowing my eyes at him. Mark, he explains plainly. I cannot say with absolute certainty that his death was not caused by one of my people. However, I can assure you and your associates that I did not give that order. Wait, Mark's dead?
You shut up!
We both shot at Danny at the same time. Why tell us that? What do you get out of us not thinking you did it? I asked him suspiciously. I've already explained this to you. Hearts and minds won fairly are much more reliable than ones taken by force. Everyone from governments to cartels knows that. It's no different in this particular case. I can't have the entirety of the local paranormal world thinking I had killed Mark. Los Angeles is one of the areas most densely populated by the paranormal. If an idea solidifies here, then it won't be long before it migrates to the adjoining areas and beyond. Simply put, this is a domino I can't have falling in the wrong direction. Understand? I guess that kinda checks out. But what's this fixation on the paranormal types? Why not just, focus on all the godly, Jesus-y regular ones all over the place? That's my own business. My point is that I personally had no part in this, and I need you to communicate that to your comrades for me. Is that understood? Crash! Guys, holy shit, you're not gonna believe what just happened! I shouted, kicking open the door to the shop. Why would he lie? I asked Chris as I sit down at the table. Hey, also, where's Madison?
I sent her to make a few drops right before you got back. Oh, have you seen my brass knuckles there anywhere?
No, I lied, knowing exactly where they had been stolen to. Anyway, where's everyone else?
I got them all over the place. We got a lot of groundwork to lay before the word spreads that. There's been some changes around here. We got a lot of friends to make, a lot of pockets to line, and a lot of alliances to forge. And even less time if Danny knows now. The gossipy fuck.
That all sounds like a whole hell of a lot of work to me, boss.
Yeah, and we're all gonna be sharing the load.
He tells me.
The whole paranormal community, especially the underworld, is about to be in an uproar as soon as the word gets out. And those angels ain't gonna be doing us no favors neither. I'm serious, Louis. Buckle up.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. Madison groans as she stumbles in through the shop door about a week later and just lays down on the floor in front of me. Yo, hey, I probably wouldn't do that if I was you. I never once seen that floor clean since I've been here, I says down to her. Bad day, huh? Oh, don't get me started. She waves in front of me. So I head towards the back to see if there's anything else I ought to do before I head out. Hey, did you hear that? Sounded like something just exploded. I hear her ask as I walk away, but I didn't hear nothing, so I just kept going. Hey, boss, Yo, hey, you alright there, boss? I stop and ask when I see him just sitting there with his head in his hands. It wasn't normal not catching him up to something.
What? Yeah, I'm fine. What the hell is it?
Oh, nothing. I was just seeing if you had anything else for me to do before I collapse into a limp, unconscious pile on the ground.
Nah, just leave whenever you want, and tell Madison she's done for the night too.
He says, looking back down at his desk and trying to look busy with something. Hey, Chris says we could take off. I tell her once I walk back in and see her still spread out on the floor. No, really, you're gonna catch something new to mankind down there. And about the time we're both ready to head out. A few softer than usual knocks tap out from the other side of the shop door. Looking nervously at each other, I slide my pistol out as she wiggles her fingers through the set of brass knuckles, and we slowly open the door to see a hooded figure standing just out of reach of the overhead light. Hey, I know you, I says once I noticed a weird green-skinned lady underneath the hood. From the apartments, right? Oh, yeah. Sorry to come like this unannounced, but Mark said that if I ever didn't hear from him for any more than a week, that I should come straight here and nowhere else, she says, taking a small step closer. Oh, okay then. And who are you exactly? Hey, at least invite her in, you inconsiderate jerk-off. Madison interrupts, pushing me out of the way so she can walk in. Come on over here and sit down, she tells the lady, waving over at the lawn table in the middle of the room. As she finally walks in, I notice she's not alone. The kid from before is with her too. Hey, Chris, maybe get in here, I call towards the back room. Oh, who's this little guy? Madison asks when she sees the kid. Chris, we could use you over here, I shout again. Oh, yes. I guess I need to explain. You see, this is Mark's son, Alex. Chris, get your ass in here!
Oh my god, what the hell do you... Who the hell is this now?
He asks mid-complaint. Well, about that, I start. It would appear that this is... Mark's kid, I say, pointing to the kid hiding behind the green-skinned woman's leg.
His... Eh?
Yes, his son. Now can someone please tell me where he is? It's not like him to just disappear like this.
The woman asks, and I look over at Chris, and his eyes start to twitch as his face is all weird, like it's about to sneeze or something.
I don't got time for this shit. I gotta go to work,
he says before turning and taking off back towards his desk and out of sight. Now Madison's looking over at me like I know what the hell I'm supposed to do, and then I realize I'm about to have to tell this kid his dad's dead, aren't I? And that right there got to me. All the years I've been dealing out mob justice, this part is the part I never saw. Like, how many people had to look down at some kid, some poor asshole's son or daughter, and tell them they ain't never gonna see them again? That they shouldn't have fucked around with the wrong people, but they did, and some piece of shit shot them dead in an alley somewhere over 1,500 lousy bucks. How many kids had to hear that because of me? Because I wasn't any good at nothing else. She must have noticed my eyes starting to water, because as I was thinking that, she seemed to have got the right idea and started tearing up. Worst part, the kid hadn't gotten wise to it yet. I had to watch as she explained it to him. Even Madison, the psycho bitch that she is, was starting to cry. After everyone had the chance to calm down a little, Me and Madison were finally able to explain what happened to Mike, and that we didn't know anything about the kid. So, I guess that makes you, his wife, right? I finally ask.
Oh, no. But I get it seems that way.
She answered with a sniffle.
No, I'm his sister-in-law. I'm Alex's aunt.
She goes on to explain as she holds the still sobbing boy in her arms.
You see, not long after he was born, my sister died. Or I should say, she was killed. But Mark knew he wasn't fit to raise a child on his own, so I told him I would look after Alex. And ever since then, Mark made sure we had everything we needed, and more. And he would still come by at least twice a week to see him and give him his...
Before she could finish, there was another knocking at the door. Oh, Jesus, who the hell is it this time? Madison's long-lost twin? I complained as I snatched the door open in frustration.
No, just me, I'm afraid.
That jackal guy says to me once it's open.
Oh. Well, hell, I'd hope I'll make it here first.
He adds when he sees the woman and child sitting at the table. Say what now? I ask as he slides past me and into the shop.
I came here as soon as I heard. I would have called, but I only had Mark's number, you see.
He tells me as he makes himself at home. Someone want to tell me what the hell's going on now? I ask, getting a little frustrated at that point.
Oh yeah, right. Did you find among Mark's possibles a small vial, likely containing a liquid inside?
Yeah, it's over in that drawer over there, he says, pointing to the cabinet where we'd left Mark's things that he had on him.
Well, you see, this little lad in here with us, as you might have noticed by now, is part Mark, who I've been led to believe is a pretty standard exemplar of our own category of Homo sapien. Well, this lovely woman,
he adds, gesturing at the lady,
is an elf. A wood elf to be more specific. And little Alex here is a bit of both, which ain't as simple as it sounds. See, sometimes when the normal and paranormal get together and have children, there could be problems unique to that situation. Conditions you can only get when one part of your body or DNA isn't compatible with another part of it. Like our little Alex here.
He says, giving the kid a pat on the head.
So Mark came to me when he noticed his son seemed to get sick all the time and getting worse. Didn't take me long to figure out that issue. But treating it, well, that took more time. And only just here recently I finally got something that seemed to do the trick.
He went on as he dug through Mark's stuff.
The only side effect, it makes you a little wibbly wobbly. And that's what this is for.
He says, holding up the vial.
Bet your poor little head's just been swimming the past few days, hasn't it? Here, take a little sip of this. Just a little one.
He tells the kid as he hands him the liquid. I'll be damned. I really thought it was drugs, I said to myself as I listened. Oh, hey, you said his wife was killed. What happened? I asked the lady.
Oh, well, I don't know all the details, just what he told me. But, let's see. There was this group of people, and they all had become fascinated with this show about hunting monsters. But for the most part, it was just some wild fantasy to them. They didn't know the paranormal world was real, until one of them got a job at this new company that allows humans to drive as paranormals around for money. But instead of just working for the company, they went and told their friends about us, that monsters were real, and they need to kill as many of us as possible to protect humanity. According to them. So they started using this company's system to find us. Then they'd save the location, come back later, and kill us. My sister was one of the first they got to. Then Mark found out. They were all nothing but ash by the end of the night, from what he told me. I couldn't even speak. I was just staring wide-eyed as everything started to make so much more sense. But it still keeps happening. It used to be that we were more separated from the regular world, but now these... what do they call themselves? Hunters. They keep finding out we exist because of these new businesses that are bringing in humans to work with us.
She goes on with genuine worry in her voice.
It's especially bad when you consider the area. And now that Mark's gone...
What do you mean by that? Madison speaks up to ask. What's so special about here?
It's one of the most heavily populated centers of the paranormal population in the world. Specifically because of dirty working, and the work it does. Because of all the work that goes into keeping the bad and violent elements separate from the rest of the community, we felt safer here than anywhere else in the world, where the stronger and more aggressive ones would exploit those just like me. Wood elves like us, we aren't very strong. We're just different. And there's others like us. This is a place where we can rest easy for the most part. But that also means we're easy to find if you know where to look.
So, what you're telling me is that we're actually responsible for holding up one of the biggest concentrations of paranormals in the world? I ask in a resounding disbelief. Just the 5 of us?
Mm-hmm. We come from all over the world to live here. It's actually become hard to find anything other than vampires anywhere else. Most of us are on the West Coast now, and most of that is here in Los Angeles County and the outlying area. But I feel like that might start to change now that...
Me and Madison were both real quiet as we walked home together that night. Something we made a habit of over the past week since we both lived in the same buildings and we both been waiting for the rain to die down before we left. She looked like she had something on her mind, as I did at the time. Hey, you good? I finally asked her.
I guess so. That whole thing really shook me up though. I already know exactly what show she's talking about. I watch it all the time. I even used to think about how cool it would be to travel around killing monsters like in the show. Now I just hate myself for it. And what's worse, I make deliveries for one of those companies that's causing all the...
Yeah, I never really thought about how they figured out all that was real, but I guess if you got companies literally hiring people just to tell them about all that shit, it seems likely to happen eventually, I guess.
What about you? You had a real unusual look on you tonight.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not feeling too great about myself right now either. I answer as I feel the rain pick up. Well, I guess I'm gonna head up, I add once I reach the stairs leading to my apartment. See you at work tomorrow.
Yeah, same,
she says before turning to head to her place. Oh, wait, hold on. I stop her before she leaves. Yeah, take these and give Chris his back. He's graying my hair over asking about the fucking things, I says, tossing her a new set of knuckle dusters.
Oh wow, thank you,
she says, tucking them in her pocket before starting to walk away.
Hey, who's that over there in front of my door? In the yellow raincoat?
She asks, pointing over to the figure laying on their stomach in front of the apartment. Fuck if I know, you expecting company? I ask as we both start to ease our way closer.
Nah, ain't nobody in there either. They're all working right now.
She tells me as we walk up to the person, my hand wrapped around my revolver I was aiming at them through my sweater. It wasn't moving, so I reached out and gave it a kick in the side. I hear a small groan. Hey, that sounded like... I trailed off, using my foot to kick the body over onto its back. Abigail? What in the grandest fuck are you doing? I shout down at her. And why the hell are you black? I add when I see her mostly covered in some kind of black dust.
So tired. Need shower. Sleep.
For the love of Christ. You go ahead, I got this. I tell Madison as I reach down to grab Abigail by the waist and start dragging her across the lot and up the stairs to my apartment.
Oh yeah, sure thing. After all, that's not incredibly suspicious looking or nothing.
Towels, soap, clothes, I say as I lay everything out in the bathroom sink for her. And hurry up, I still want to get washed off too.
Then maybe we should Never mind, I'm too tired to mess with you tonight. Leave.
she says, giving me a hard shove out the bathroom before pushing the door closed behind me. Jeez, I guess even she's having a hard time right now, too. Wonder what she's been up to, I says to myself as I lean back into the new recliner I just bought. Hey, you know who I haven't seen since I got back? Aha! I yell at the goblin as I catch him climbing in through the window, chewing what seemed to be a steak he had pilfered from someone's kitchen. I got nothing. I'll deal with you later, I tells him as he notices the sound of running water, and immediately runs over and starts looking through the crack in the door to see who's in the bathroom. About the time he gets his nose under the door and gets a whiff of her, he goes off. Calm down, she'll be out in a minute. Can't believe you like her more than me. I'd feed your ass. I sneer at the damn thing as it claws at the door. Hey, wake up. Wake up. Oh, thank God. It was all just a bad dream. I groaned as I wiped my eyes. Ah, fuck. I sigh when I see Abigail standing over me, her wet hair dangling over my head and trickling my nose. I smell coffee. Yeah, the shower woke me up a little, so I made some. It's awful because you buy crap instant coffee, but it's better than nothing. She says down to me where I was laying back in the recliner. Personal space, please. I mumble as I push it to one side so I can get up and get to the coffee. So, you want to tell me why I found you passed out down there in the raincoat and blackface? Right. Well, the black stuff was soot from a car bomb. Wasn't my car, she added when she saw the look on my face. Most of my clothes got blown or burned off, so I had to wear the raincoat. What the hell are you been up to? Various forms of deviltry, she says dismissively. The angels have been getting aggressive, and I've been doing everything I can to antagonize them all week. That reminds me, I have a lot of bodies I need you guys to burn. They're starting to pile up and stink. I'll see what I can do, I sighed as I finished the cup of coffee. Alright, I'm gonna take a shower. Try not to blow anything up. Either of you, I says to both of them as I close the door to the bathroom. Oh boy, that felt grand. She stole my bed, I say under my breath as I walk out of the bathroom to see Abigail had already passed out in my bed with the goblin curled up at her feet. Ah, well, shit. Guess I got only one option, I sigh, looking over at the empty recliner. Ah! Abigail grunts as she sails through the air and plops down onto the chair's cushions. Steal my bed? Fuck you think you are? I mumble as I pulls the blanket up and get comfortable. Hey, what the hell? She shrieks. Can I at least have a She huffs as a balled up comforter smacks her in the face. I hear the knocking on the door the next morning as it wakes me up, but I don't do nothing on account I don't really care who it is. Until I hear the doorknob turn and Abigail say, "What do you want?" And I turn over to see her standing in front of the halfway open door in my t-shirt I let her use after she took a shower, with her still messed up bed hair looking at some guy in a business suit. Oh Jesus Christ, this is just what I need right now, I groan, jumping up out of bed, shoving her out of the way, pushing the guy back out into the hall. Who are you? Who are you? What do you want? Who are you? I ask, getting up in the guy's face.
Relax, sir. I'm not here to judge,
the man says as he adjusts his glasses.
Even if it seems warranted. I'm here to make you an offer,
he said, producing a piece of paper out of a black leather folder.
My employer has recently acquired this property and would like to offer you a not insignificant amount of money to vacate the dwelling, post-haste.
Huh. You saying I'm getting paid to be evicted or something? I ask as I look over the paper.
Well, no, not exactly. We're more reconstituting the residency here. Very official and technical, you see. Difficult to explain. Very difficult. But, oh my,
he suddenly says with a glance over my shoulder. I turn to see what he's looking at, and it's Abigail and the damn goblin both peeking out through the crack of the door. Whoa, hold on, I can explain that. It's a monkey. A horribly disfigured monkey. Yeah. You buying that?
Oh, no, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
The guy apologizes, taking back the paper and tucking it away in the folder.
This is just a misunderstanding. You see, this property is being reallocated as a residence for both the paranormal and those who work in paranormal contact heavy vocations, which it would seem is the case with you. If you check, this location has already been removed from the standard mapping application.
I'll be damned, he's right. It ain't there no more. I say once he leaves and I look at the map app on my phone. Yeah, that's not unusual for paranormal housing. Abigail tells me she puts on some sunblock she made me borrow from the neighbors. Wonder what made them buy this place up, though. There's already one like it in Lincoln Heights. Why would they need another? Who knows? But as long as my rent stays the same, I don't care. I don't want to give up a place that's walking distance from work, and all those good Mexican restaurants along with it on North Broadway. Oh, hey, check that out. I'm starting to learn the way around this place after all, I say all proud-like. I still get turned around sometimes, and I've been here since 1992, I think? She told me, sounding a little frustrated. Okay, let's go, she added, heading out the door with a fresh coat and a sunblock and a pair of sunglasses on. Whoa, hey, what's going on here? Madison blurts out as she sees us walking down the steps together. Abigail's still in my t-shirt and my Crocs she also borrowed, flopping ridiculously. She tried to walk in them. Mind your damn business, I sigh, not in the mood to argue. So that fancy guy come knocking on your door this morning too? I asked Madison once Abigail broke off and headed back in the direction of her shop. Yeah, he did, until he realized I didn't actually pay the bills at the place. Then he just said he'd come back later or something. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention all that much. Yo, where's Johnny? I ask as we walk through the door to the shop. He usually beats me here in the mornings.
I gave him the day off. He ain't handling Mike too well, and I've been pushing him kinda hard. He got here earlier, and couldn't hold it together, so I told him to go home.
Chris says, looking through some papers.
Here, you two are gonna have to share his load for the day. Maybe between you and the diversity hire, you might be able to handle it.
He adds, handing us both our own paper. Whoa, holy shit, boss. He does all this? In a day?
Yeah, Johnny's real workhorse. Best of luck,
he says before waving us both off.
Try not to fuck nothing up.
Yo, this is ridiculous. No wonder Johnny filed him the way he did. There's so many plastic containers, I shout to Madison on the other end of the phone. No, really, you gotta come around to the back and see this shit. I tells her as the workers at the van warehouse literally shovel the containers for the meat into the back of the van. Whoa, that is a lot, she says when she meets me around back. Where did he keep all these? There's a storeroom in the hall between the shop and the morgue. I guess that's where they go. Yep, in here. I tell Madison once I open the door to the storeroom. After about 2 hours of moving the containers from the van to the storeroom, we finally finish and parted ways to work on our own things to pick up Johnny's slack. I had to go way ass out in the middle of nowhere to pick up meth we sell to the vampires, and run it back to the shop without getting busted with enough shit to put me away for life on that alone. Like there's a felony amount, but Chris sent me to get the mortal sin amount. And on the way there, of course, the fact that I'm hauling an ungodly amount of cash to pay for it with. Hey, where's Johnny? One of the cartel guys asks me when he sees me get out the van. He ain't doing too good right now, so I'm filling in for him today, I explain. I got the money if you got the crack. I add, opening the bag to show them the cash.
What the fuck happened to the van?
Another of them asks, noticing the crumbled metal siding. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Anyway, we're doing this or not. I've been filling in for Johnny all day, and the guy works like a machine. I just want to get his shit done and go home, I asked him, tossing the duffel bag at their feet. Johnny or not, money's all here, the first guy says before getting in his car and driving off with the rest of them, revealing several plastic tubs that were sitting in the stacks behind it. I can't believe they ain't even gonna help me, I grunt as I heft the tubs into the back of the van. After that, I sat out back to the shop, drugs in tow and thinking I was finally closing in on finishing out for the day. But after dragging all the tubs from the van back to the store, in the room myself, Chris comes up and says to me,
Guess what? Got a job for you that's actually right down your particular alley.
Which is
a hit. And it ain't gonna be easy either.
I'm already not liking the way this sounds. I huff, still tired from the rest of the day. What's the problem? Why can't you do this one?
Hey, calm down. This is what you do best, ain't it? Even Mark said he didn't think you'd be able to pull off that last one. He actually told me he was pretty impressed. Not just that you pulled it off, but got away clean, too. So if you could do that, you should be able to figure this one out. I even got the guy who can fudge the paperwork and make everything push through a lot faster.
Paperwork? So what the hell do I gotta do that involves paperwork? Look, I just need you to go in and see what the security situation is. I tell Madison a few days later as we both watch the Egyptian consulate in the distance. Chris already got you an appointment with your fake papers. Says here the fake name is Mona Lisa Vito. Fucking Christ, I groan. And I'm Vincent Gambini. Smart ass.
What am I gonna say when I just walk in, turn around and leave?
She asked me nervously. Just pretend to get a phone call and act like something important came up. Have you ever seen any movie ever? Just go so we can get this over with, I says, shoving her out into the open. Building's kinda scary from the outside though. I hear quietly when she gets too far to hear me. A few minutes later she comes jogging back, almost shaking, and ducks into the car where I've been waiting.
That was terrifying,
she said as she heaved, trying to catch her breath. And what you see? I questioned her.
Oh, right. They got one of those walk-through metal detectors, and they got a guy with one of those metal detector hand-wand thingies right after that,
she relays to me.
And cameras everywhere.
You sure the first one was just a metal detector, not an x-ray machine?
This lug nut you snuck into my pocket set it off and scared the shit out of me,
she said, throwing the piece of metal at me. Alright, I think I can work with this.
What you gotta do anyway? What's in there?
I gotta whack some guy from Egypt who's been hiding out in there. Chris says he's been trafficking paranormals from the area out of the country and bunkering down in there. Apparently someone ain't too happy about that and put a hit on his ass. And that's how we found out about it.
You mean you're gonna kill the guy?
She says as she gets situated in the seat. Yeah, got a problem with that?
No, he sounds like a real asshole.
She answers as she gets her seatbelt back into place.
What's all that shit?
Madison asks a few days later as I set a package from the mail on the workbench.
It's from a supplier for knife-making stuff? What good's a knife gonna do you? They got 2 different metal detectors in here.
I'm not making it out of metal. I tells her as I pull the slab of black material out of the box. I'm using this, I add as I hand it over to her.
What's this?
It's called G10. They usually use it for the handles, but it's so strong you can make something pretty sturdy and sharp out of it.
Oh, you mean like carbon fiber?
No, carbon fiber can get by the walk-through detector, but the wand would pick it up. This stuff, I says, giving it a few knocks on the counter. Those wands don't catch G10. Now hand me the skill saw and a few of those cartridge blades for cutting ceramic over there, and cover your face. The dust from this shit can kill you if you ain't too careful. It's real bad if it gets into your eyes too. Well, it ain't pretty, but it should do, he says, looking it over once I finish wrapping the rubber electrical tape around it, sharpening the edge. Alright, go get Chris my appointment and set it up so I can wrap this up. I tell Madison.
Yeah, sure. But what the hell's wrong with your legs?
What? Nothing. I'm getting used to walking different than I normally do. Just hiding your face ain't enough. They can catch you off with the way you walk, too. I've seen cases that use footage of someone's walk as evidence. I answer as I work giving myself a slight limp and not swinging my arms as much. This is some sensitive shit. You fuck with an embassy, you fuck with the embassy's whole country. So it's another few days later and I'm standing across the street looking at the embassy building. Working up the nerve to go in, wishing I didn't have to wear the same stupid clothes from the promise table thing. And then out of nowhere, some broad comes walking up to me in an even dumber outfit than mine and says, "Hi there, do you mind if I ask you a few questions real fast?" Actually, I do. I'm kinda busy. Great. First, can I ask your pronouns? She suddenly asks over me. Hell, I don't know too many. I failed English just like every other subject lady. Now fuck off, I says as I shove it to the side and make my way over to the building before she drew too much attention to me. No, I didn't mean that. I just wanted to... She mumbled as I put my hand over her face and shoved her away again, but she just kept following me, so I had to improvise. Oh shit, I hope this works. I coughed, clearing my throat, getting into my fake walk. Excuse me! Excuse me! I shouted at the guards at the gate in the most non-New Yorker, blue blood, Ivy League bullshit voice I could manage. I have an appointment in the consulate and this woman is harassing me. And somehow, I guess in all the confusion, it worked. They opened the gate and let me jog right through and stopped her in her tracks.
We're sorry about that, sir.
One of the, I'm assuming, Egyptian guards says to me as I pass by. And then I finally get to the entrance of the building and walk inside. The moment of truth. There I was, staring down the walk-through metal detector. So I undo my belt buckle, put it in the little tray, and walk through. Silence.
Here's your belt, sir. Would you mind showing me your documents, please?
The guy at the end of the setup asks me as he hands me the belt, and the other guy starts winding me down.
Yeah, here you go.
I says to him and hand him a fake ID and paperwork.
Mr. Vincent Gambini?
He asks, looking over the papers.
Yeah. That's me. Apparently.
And here you are. He says to me as he looks over the screen of his tablet.
Your meeting should be held upstairs and 3 rooms down in about 10 minutes, he adds, handing me my papers back. Thank you very much, I says to him in the ridiculous voice with a small nod as I adjust the reading glasses I bought just before I got here. The fake mustache I was wearing started to tickle my nose. Okay, if I was a paranormal trafficking shitbasket, where would I be hiding? I ask myself as I snoop around the joint and look at the photo the guy Chris gave me. Great. I'm gonna have to look through every single fucking one of these rooms just to find this asshole, aren't I? And then someone bumps into my shoulder. Oh, so sorry,
the guy says as he passes by, looking down at the screen of his phone. Fuck me running, that's the guy, I say under my breath as he keeps walking down the hall like I wasn't even there. Well, shit. Can't just kill the bastard in the middle of the hall with all these cameras everywhere. So I decided to figure out where he was headed and followed him first. After a little while, he settled down in the sitting area and opened his laptop to do something on it. Of course he'd pick a room with a camera, I groaned. Once I was sure where he was, I looked around real quick to find a room without any. And after I found a good one, I go running back to where the guy is, making sure to keep a fake walk and voice going.
Oh, hey, it's you! Thank goodness!
I shout as I run up to him.
There's a gentleman looking for you. He told me if I saw you to bring you straight to him. I think he said something about a possible extradition? I don't know. That sounds important, though.
What? Are you serious? The guy shouts back at me. Where is he?
This way, I think.
I tells him, waving at him to follow me as I do a goofy-ass trot down the hall. Once I get right to the room, I stick my head in and fake talking to someone.
I found him. This way, this way.
I head looking back down the hall and opening the door for the guy to run in.
Hey, nobody's in here,
the guy says once he gets a chance to look around, giving me just enough time to slip my rubber gloves on. I couldn't afford to let him turn around. The second he realized what I was about to do, he'd start fighting back, and that just makes everything that much harder. And if he slips away, I'm screwed. So I reach around with my left hand and grab his chin to keep his neck from turning or screaming, and I jam the tip of the blade into the left side of his neck and drag it across the other side, as hard as I can. By then he already started to struggle, but it was too late. His whole windpipe and at least one of his arteries was cut. He was trying to scream, and that's how I could tell. I could hear the gurgling sound of the blood getting sucked in and out of his neck before the air could reach his mouth. So I just held on until he stopped moving. Once he was still, I took the gloves off and made sure I didn't have any blood anywhere else. When I was done, I took a second to catch my breath and gave my fake walk back before I stepped back out into the hall and put my phone up to my ear. Glad that unlike the US Embassy, they let you bring your phone into this one.
No, it's fine. I'll just have to reschedule. I need to be there for this. Just breathe, honey,
I says with a little urgency in this snooty voice as I jog past the guards at the entrance and out the door.
I'm sorry, fellas, but if they ask, my wife's pregnant, and she just went into labor a month before we were expecting. I'm so sorry to be a bother, I really am.
I was actually impressed that I was able to think of an excuse on the fly good enough to let me run once I left instead of walk, so I could get as far away as fast as possible before they found the body. I can't believe I pulled that shit off, I sigh. About a second before I hear the police sirens in the distance. Well, shit. That was quick. Time to lose this shit. He says I tossed the glasses and fake mustache into a public trash can and skipped back off to where I'd left the van a few blocks away. Hey, got him. I tell Chris after I get my burner phone out of the glove box.
Really? No shit? Already?
He asked from the other end. Yeah, why is that so hard to believe? I told you guys I was good at what I do. I asked him back.
Fair enough, I guess. Just get back here and you get your cut of the cash.
Hey, you good? You sound kinda off. I asked him when I noticed he didn't sound at all there.
I'm fine. Mind your business,
he answers before hanging up. Mildly offended, I put the phone in the other seat and started the van to make my way back to the shop. I catch myself starting to relax once I turn into Broadway and see a sign of my favorite restaurant down the road. I'm gonna get my cash, and then I'm gonna eat Mexican food till I puke. I'll shit myself. Whichever comes first. I tell myself, right before my phone rings. Ah, shit, what the hell does Madison want? Louie, I need your help, she whispers sharply into my ear when I answer. Why are you whispering? What the hell's wrong now? I was out making a drop when I saw one of those angel guys, so I followed them, 'cause they looked like they were up to something. And they went into some kind of weird building, and now I'm stuck in the building and I can't get out. I need help, she explains in a hurry. Fuck, alright. Just send me your location, I'll be there as soon as I can. A few seconds after I hang up, I get the location and head straight there. On the way, I call Chris and tell him to get Johnny and Muscles rounded up and Abigail if he can, and to get where I'm going. Since I didn't know how much trouble she might be in, I went on ahead of everyone and hoped everything would work out, and we didn't just both end up dying. I just wanted some goddamn enchiladas, I mumble to myself as I run another red light and rifle through the damn glove box for my pistols, and my pocket knife to set them on the passenger seat next to me. Madison, I'm outside. Where the fuck are you? I asked through the phone once I pull into the lot across the street. I'm in some kind of room with a bunch of cages. There's like weird animals in them. I think they might be paranormals. And the room before that has some kind of those green people in cages too. What? What? I start to ask, and then the pieces start to fall into place. That's when I had a pretty good idea who ordered the hit. Okay, Madison, just try to hang tight. I'm gonna try something. You remember the way out? Yeah? There's just too many of those angels to slip past. Alright, stay where you are, and once you hear the commotion, give it a second, and then haul ass outside. I tells her as I stuff the snub nose in my pocket and grab a lighter out of the toolbox in the back. Once I had everything, I ran around to the other side and picked up a random parked car close to the building. Don't try this next part at home, kids. Once I picked the car, an older one, so you can just open the cover of the gas cap from the outside. I twist the cap off and wad my necktie into the opening. Once it's in there, I light the end of the tie and take off to another car a little further back. And do the same thing with another piece of my shirt. Let the first one cook for a few more seconds, then light the piece of shirt and take back off to the van. Boom! The can goes up in flames once the fumes of the gas tank finally hit the burning tie. Seconds later, I can hear the chaos as the angels start pouring out of the building to investigate the explosion. Boom! The second one goes up as I hear the screams as several of them catch on fire. Not long after, I hear my phone ring. What the fuck was that? Madison yells at me and she makes a break through the place trying to get outside. Probably domestic terrorism if it ends up in court. So move your ass so we can get the fuck out of here. I yell back at her. I'm parked across the street. Everyone should be here soon to back us up. I add, making sure she knows where to go once she's out, and peeking around the corner to see what's going on. Don't you move! I hear a voice shout from behind me as I was putting my phone back in my pocket. Hands over where I can see him and get down on the ground. Yep, that's definitely a cop, I sighed to myself. There goes them not seeing my face. And I really don't want to kill one of those guys today. And then I hang on to that shit. And then, against all odds, who comes running around the corner right into me? Abigail? No fucking way. Where the hell did she come from? I think to myself. But then an idea hits me as I glare down at her. An evil grin cracking across my face. It didn't take her clever ass long to see exactly what I was thinking, because as soon as she saw that smile, she says, Don't you do it. I swear to God, if you... Grab the gun or I'll make you wear fucking brains! I yell, snatching her up and holding her in between me and the cop, just high enough to where she can't see my whole face, my pistol pressed against the head. Deja vu, right? I whisper in her ear as I start to feel her tremble with rage. You are going to pay for this. She whispers back without moving her mouth. Turn the other way and get down on the ground, asshole! I'm not fucking around! I'll blow this kid's head off! I keep yelling at the cop. Now hands on your head and cross your feet behind you. I've been arrested before, I know how this shit's done. Once they're on their knees, I hear the front entrance of the door of the building slam open, and Madison barrels out into the street and towards the van. But by that time, the angels started to get wise to me and started rounding the building and were heading straight for me and Abigail. Getting fed up with everything? She pushes herself off me and runs over to the cop, stomping on one of their ankles, making a horrible cracking noise before she pops them with a hook to the head and puts them out cold. What the fuck was that for? I ask as she runs back over to me. Settle down. He'll probably get a medal for that. We need to worry about them now, she says, directing me to the torrent of angels stampeding towards us. So I aim my pistol in that general direction and empty it. Well, that did fuck all, I shout over to Abigail, who was starting hurling random objects towards them at supersonic speeds. But she wasn't making much more of a dent than I did. Madison was only about halfway between the building and the van when they noticed her too. Bitch, move your ass! I scream at her as some of the angels change direction to make a play for her. She's not gonna make it! I don't know if she's gonna make it! I yell at Abigail as she changed targets and started peppering the ones heading for Madison with loose pieces of concrete and gravel. But it didn't do much of nothing. Just when I was ready to take off and meet her halfway, Chris, Johnny, and Muscles come sliding around the opposite corner in Chris's car. Johnny hanging out the window with his rifle and putting rounds into the front of the mob, finally slowing them down a little before I see him chuck something into the middle of them. Boom! An explosion goes off, sending debris and body parts up into the air. That finally makes the whole group falter for just long enough for me, Madison, and Abigail to pile into the van and speed off. Holy shit, I think I actually pissed my pants! I scream as we fly past traffic on the way back to the shop. And where did Johnny find a grenade? I don't think they care about the not hurting us thing. Madison gasps from the back seat as Abigail glares at me from the passenger seat. What? What? Stop using me as a prop, she growls at me. You'll live, I say dismissively with a wave of my hand. Could have done without you. You really saved my ass this time. She groaned, turning her head to look out the window. After a while, we were finally all back at the shop and gathering around the table, and I remember what I had thought of earlier, so I explained to them what I think is going on.
So, you're saying you think they put a hit out on this guy using a fake identity? And they plan on using the commotion following his death to swipe his whole paranormal trafficking operation. Which Madison, being the reckless dumbass that she is, just happened to stumble across right as it was happening.
Chris asked once I'm done explaining everything. It seems about right, yeah.
If that's true, then that means they're making some serious plays for this area that span all the way out to other countries. And they used us to do it.
Chris says as he pulls the chair out and sits down.
They think they can fuck with us any which way now that Mark's gone? They're about to learn the hard way that ain't how shit works around here. Just because Mark ain't around no more, don't mean you can just...
You okay, boss? I ask as he suddenly stops talking.
Look, there's a lot on my goddamn plate right now, and I don't know if I'm ready to handle running this shit.
Yo, I think I know what's going on.
Madison suddenly speaks up.
We all been out of shape about Mark dying, and you're all keeping all that shit bottled up like Neanderthals you are, ain't you?
What? No! All of us, even Abigail, say at once.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Look, how's about we all take the rest of the night off and just, give old Mark a proper goodbye like he deserves?
Madison suggests.
You got a place you like to go?
So we all took her advice and closed up the shop. I asked what we were supposed to do about all the paranormal still in cages, but he told me that ain't our department, and that he already made the call to the right people who sort that kind of business out. That those angels had a lot of black and gold in their immediate future, which I assumed to mean that those hotel people were going to be doing some raining down on that ungodly hellfire Mark talked about. Scorched earth was the term Chris used. An hour or so later, we were all at the bar.
What can I get you guys?
The guy asked once we all sat down at our favorite table towards the back wall. Johnny got his usual piss water, Chris got a Jack and Coke, Madison ordered a Bloody Mary, I asked for a scotch, and then there was Abigail to help things go smoothly as always. I'll have a margarita, she said like it was nothing.
Aw, little lady, I don't think you're old enough for that kind of drink. How about a root beer?
We all watched in terror at the impending disaster that was about to unfold at our table. And sure enough, she reaches over, grabs the waiter's hand, and starts to squeeze. It took about half a second before we saw the shock and alarm hit his face.
Hey! Ow! 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 Let go! Ah!
Shh. Hush. She tells him as she pulls him down closer to her. Louis, knife please. She asked me from across the table, so I pull out my pocket knife and slide it across the table to her, which she immediately opens and nails her own fucking hand to the table with it.
Oh my god!
The waiter cries. It just audible over the ambient racket of the rest of the bar.
What's wrong with you?
Think for a second. If I'm willing to do this to myself just to make a point, what might I possibly be willing to do to say you or your wife or your children? She says to the guy, and as he looks down at her in terror, I actually kind of feel bad for the poor schmuck. Is all this really worth not bringing me my drink?
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'll bring you that right away.
He tells her, almost on the verge of tears. Remind me to leave him a good tip. Abigail says to me as she wrenches my knife out of the table and slides it back over to me, after thoroughly wiping her blood off it and tucking the contaminated napkin into her pocket.
Holy shit, what a day.
Chris barks as we all stagger and stumble out of the bar several hours later, all absolutely pissed drunk. Especially Abigail, who I'd lost count of how many margaritas she knocked back since we'd been there. We finally had to leave when she made the declaration that if she started to puke, she was going to spin her head all the way around like The Exorcist before it comes out. So we thought it'd probably be best to bail out before that happened. As we all wandered down the sidewalk, I hear Madison making a call. Hey, Rissa! Hey, where do I live again? Madison's drunk. Abigail hiccups at her from beside me. All right, I'm heading home. Johnny says as he finally gives up and heads off in a different direction.
Yeah, me too.
Chris says as he heads off his own direction.
Had a good time, guys. See you tomorrow.
He adds with a wave. I'm gonna wait here. Riss is coming to get me, Madison says as she plops down on the bench. See you guys later. Yeah, no, we're not just leaving your drunk ass on the sidewalk. There's all kind of creeps out this time of night. Like Chris and Johnny, I says to her as I sit down next to her to wait, pulling Abigail over with me so she can sit too. As we sit there, I watch Madison drunkenly play around with her derby to pass the time, betting against myself whether or not she ends up puking in it. And as I watch, I feel Abigail's hand rest against my shoulder. She starts to fall asleep. Hey, no, hey, wake up, I say, trying to nudge her awake with my arm. I'm not carrying you home. I don't even know where you live. But it was already over. She was out, and even by the time Madison's girlfriend had already came and picked her up, she was still not budging. Hey, goddammit! Alright. Fine, I'll take you home. Little evil bitch. Where am I going? I asked her, frustrated to no end. Shop. What? No, I'm not taking you to the shop. You need rest. Where's your house? Shop. Son of a bitch. You ain't going back to the shop tonight, 'cause I'm not carrying you there. Now where do you live? I bark at her one more time. Shop. Oh, fuck me! I interrupted before she could say it. If you puke on me, I'm leaving you in the middle of the road, I swear to God. I mumble, halfway back to my apartment with her on my back. You're gonna make me a social pariah. I just know it. Wait, am I using that right? Pariah? Pariah? No idea. Definitely still drunk. Once I finally get back to the apartment and get the door open and keep the damn goblin from running out the door, I lay Abigail down on the bed and pull the blanket over her. You know, she starts to grow on you once you get past the 8 or so layers of evil and spite. He says to the goblin as he crawls up next to her feet. That took me about 5 minutes to unlace the ridiculous boots she was wearing all the time. But I ain't gonna tell you that, fucking traitor. So once I get that situated, I decided to take a shower, resigning myself to the recliner for the night. Just as I step out of the bathroom and sink down into my favorite easy chair, bzz, 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 I hear my regular phone go off from a text. So I pick it up and read it before letting myself finally pass out and see it's from Jose. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I have a good idea of who killed Mark. It looks like it, and then the message suddenly cuts off. Like he was trying to send it in a hurry and didn't get to finish. So close. I sigh to myself as I stand up to wake Abigail. Before I get to her, I hear it in the distance. The deep boom of a massive explosion that shook the entire apartment building and made the lights flicker off for a second. What was that? Abigail asks as she rolls over in the bed. Hey, you need to wake up. I think something really bad just happened.
This next part is some words from the author about the series. Alrighty then, that's a wrap on the second season of Dirty Work Inc. And since these little epilogues have become something of a tradition by now, here's this one. So if it seems like this one just came fast and loud out of nowhere, that's because it kind of did. Originally, I only had the first part finished and was just posting it as a kind of special thing for the people in the Worstverse Reddit. But me being the space case I am, I forgot to tell Temper about it. Yeah. So he just saw the upload and thought, oh hey, that's for me to narrate. So I think it was the next day after I uploaded it to Reddit, I'm scrolling through YouTube and see Dirty Work Inc. Season 2, Part 1, slide across the screen. So I go into full panic mode. But I was lucky enough to have the second part mostly done and was able to buckle down and keep pace to get the parts out fast enough to do a week-by-week thing. So it all worked out. Kinda. So, if you've made it this far, there's one thing I want to mention, specifically about the whole reason for Dirty Work Inc. even being a thing to begin with. Originally, it was just supposed to be a mini-series to bridge the gap between Season 1 and 2 of the I Ride for Cerber, and get the events and introduce characters for the following story. Well, that's one part. The second part, in case you have already figured it out, was the kind of shine a light on the dark corners of the fantasy world we tend to find ourselves wishing we could live in. What it would mean to have contagious immortality or random monsters that need to be appeased, or find out the gods we worship aren't what we'd hoped they would be. What happens when you mix shows about killing monsters with a business model that revolves around telling people who might watch those shows that monsters exist, and so on. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it's just a part of the larger story. It was intended just to be something for the people who are already following the I Ride for Cerber series, but I've seen way more than just a few instances of people who don't have any idea that this is just a fragment of a larger story. So if you've made it this far and want to keep following what happens to Louis and the rest of Dirty Work Inc., and find out who killed Mark and what the explosion was at the end, then you'll need to stay tuned for the following story as it continues on the third and final season of I Ride for Cerber when it comes out. And if you've only been following Dirty Work Inc. so far, then you'll have about 28 videos of related I Ride for Cerber story that includes the introduction of Dirty Work Inc., and a lot of context you've likely been missing that will make Dirty Work Inc. make much more sense. And if you're a real trooper, you can start from the very beginning with Werewolves Are Arseholes and sort through the 50-something videos so far in that playlist that has even more to do with that story. Since, as I like to tell people, it's all one big story told from different perspectives by different people under different circumstances. In short, if you're only listening to Dirty Work Inc., you're missing a lot, and you'll never find out what happened to Mark, how the conflict with the Angels ends, or who the mysterious shapeshifter is if you don't at least follow I Ride for Cerber, because that's where those parts of the story are going to be told. So that's about it. I've been working on finishing this last part since about 11 PM, and it's now, Jesus Christ, 10:30 AM, and I'm still alive to make a half-hazard attempt at proofreading. And with that, I'll wrap this up, and I'll see you all again, I suppose, at the end of I Ride for Cerber, whenever that happens. Nature Stamper here. I want to give a massive thank you to Joshua Waggoner for all the work he's done thus far and continues to do. So again, please check out the Worstverse subreddit, which is linked directly in the description below.